All right, it's the 17th of January. Today is a Wednesday, and we are 14 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. You are most welcome for the Wednesday edition of the Kokoliriko live show with me, Farish Majid. And this is where we give you updates and insights on some of the stories that may be trending on the various media outlets. So I think it is the very right time where you should actually join us right now, and we shall be doing this with you up the hour. That's 9 a.m. and my name is Farish Majid, and it's a great pleasure having you on board as we have so many stories to be discussed here and there, starting off from Arua City and to the world at large. So I think why we start from Arua City is actually where our head office is as West Nile Television. Our head office is in Anyafio. And in case you have been looking for us, we are in Anyafio. You can actually take time and really also visit us in case of businesses. That is why it is always very, very much prudent to be part of the #1 station. When it comes to West Nile Sub-Region, we are the leading. That is why you must always also be part of the show. So I think that is why it is also very, very much important for you to be in the know of what is happening. And to the people watching us from the rest of the parts of the world, and I want to also thank you so much, really, not forgetting those who are watching us overseas. It's always a great pleasure having you on board. And remember, you can also be part of the show by just simply sharing your ideas through the various media feedback generating outlets. For instance, social media. For those of you on Facebook, we are live. You can actually be part of the show by just dropping your comment there, and then we shall also be in place to share with the rest of the viewers. And for those of you watching us from YouTube as well, you can also use the comment section of YouTube to also drop your comment there, and then we shall be in place also to share with you and the rest of the viewers. So I think that is why it is very, very much important. From wherever you're watching us within West Nile, I want to welcome you on board. And for those of you who are watching us from Lango Sub-Region, I also want to welcome you on board. Those from Acholi, I do not forget you. And those from that is in Karamoja, I also do not leave you out. I want to welcome all of you on board to the Kokoliriko live show on West Nile TV. And for those who are watching us from the rest of the parts of the country, Eastern Uganda, Central, that is Northeastern, really, I want to also welcome all of you on board, and not forgetting those catching us from Western, and you understand, people from Masindi, Bulisa, that is Hoima, you are always watching, and that is why I also want to welcome all of you to the show. And this is where we are going to be discussing a lot of pertinent issues here and there. You can actually also be part of the show by interacting through the media feedback generating platforms I did tell you about. For those of you on Facebook, you can use the Facebook comment section. You just search for Kokoliriko live show. You will be able to also really access us there. And for those of you accessing us on Zuku, remember our channel number is 0073. We also do appreciate you, and you can actually also be part of the show by really sharing your opinions on our ideas on some of the topics that maybe we shall be able to discuss here and there through the Facebook page. So I think all you need to do is just rush and search out for West Nile Television, and under there you will be able to find Kokoliriko live show that is running. So I think it will be also making it very easy for you to really tell us where you are watching us from and what you think on some of the things that we are discussing. So I think without really wasting any of our time, we are heading into the discussions really on the updates, starting it off from Arua City. Recently, on the 11th of January, if I remember, it was really a hot day. That is at CPS, as fish dealers from, that is Arua Fish Suppliers Market. This is the Sudanese Fish Suppliers Market, stormed the Arua Central Police Station, demanding for the release of their leaders who had been arrested. That was on 10th of January on orders by some leaders and security agencies. This follows a conflict between the two groups. And if we talk about the two groups, remember, South Sudanese Fish Dealers Association was really started as a sole entity, but some of the groups actually did what they did was to break away from the main group, and this from their own. This was now identified as Leodir and Goy Fish Suppliers Association. So I think this did not go well with some of the leaders, and on circumstances where politics is involved, you really know what it means. So I think somebody once told me there are two things that really separate and divide people in the world. That is money and power. Remember, power you cannot separate from politics. It comes with politics. So I think this is where so many issues are being said here and there, and that is why when this was stormed police actually did retaliate calmly and act gently and into solving this grievances. So what they did was to convene a meeting with the leaders of these groups, and what they did was sit down and really draw means, and the people who were arrested, that was the chairman of the association together with his secretary. They were later on released on police bond. So I think what police did was quite commendable. There was no shooting of tear gas or bullets, and no injuries were recorded. But really what they did was to really act amicably and draw proper means to solving these issues here, which I also want to really commend the DPC and the RCC for, together with the other security agencies who really acted calmly during that time to see to it that no bloodshed was witnessed, because this issue was really growing out of hand. And remember, the two leaders already had their own following, so this was also posing a security threat, because if you look at the Leodir and the Goy group, this actually broke away from the main, that is South Sudanese Fish Suppliers Association, and formed their own. And these two leaders actually caused these wrangles. And if you are to see what was really happening, it was really going out of hand, it was becoming nasty. But I want to also thank the leaders really for acting gently. And yesterday, the leadership of Arua, that is the security and the political leaders, led by Charles Ichogor, the Arua City Resident City Commissioner, together with the Member of Parliament, that is the Honorable Atima Jackson Butili, together with other leaders, inclusive of the mayor, that is for the city and the Central Division, plus other leaders, really had an engagement with these two groups, and really so many resolutions were passed here and there. I think it is really very, very much prudent if our producer could actually relay some of the footages of what may be transpired there as we keep coming back with the discussion. Please, producer, if you can be able to really show us what really happened, it will also be great for the viewers to understand of how these people were actually really discussing here and there. Let's first have a look at what they were saying.
Tony, I'm the one who brought Tony. I brought Tony to translate for me the way it's going now. When we were constructing this market, we were working together. We were all going to all the offices together. We got him here. We didn't come with him from South Sudan.
2021.
My business was not okay, was not going well. I gathered all the businessmen that were there, and I said I'm going to go back to the waters there.
Well, Tony, I will acting chairman.
I will leave Tony in the office as an acting chairman.
2021, 2022.
In 2021 and 2022, I was all there. I spent 3 months there. I do normally spend 3 months there, then I come back to Uganda. Ask about the report.
No report.
There's no report.
2021, 2022.
2021 and 2022.
Up to 2023.
Even 2023, back to 2023.
Dajamikula Rogol. Katuani Ajati before be Kaka section Bugriak. Who walk, why you, why security guy you pay to Jaya night. In Koranya to Madia Bulu.
All in all, because I've seen the issues of the association were not going on well, we were paying the rent and the security guards, all the rent of the market. I have seen that everything was not going well, so I decided to tell Tony, please, you step aside, let me bring the new committee. I'm not chasing you out of the office, but I'm bringing the committee to manage the facilities first.
I want to start by saying how we came into this market called Lobida Market. We should not base on allegations and accusations which are baseless. I get to know my brother Maut. In December 2021, I didn't know him. I only hear that is a restaurant in Sudan. When we had so much confusion in Arua Hill Market, I hope our leaders here knows the cliques of what happened in Arrow Hill due to overcharging of our bundles that we bring from Council used to charge us 80,000 or 90,000 per each bundle of fish like that. The blockers used to charge us 100 or 90,000 per bundle, and if you don't want, no one will put down your bundles. When I got the opportunity to meet His Lordship, the Mayor of Central Division, I was led to him by a friend who is the LC1 of Bazawat. I went representing my people, not knowing Maut. I didn't know him. The people who were with me are here.
So it was my dismay when we had the rumors that this market was to be demolished. Of recent, pertaining what is ongoing on ground. Last time when we came here, we heard that the store was locked and we are no longer allowed to be here because our chairman was at CPS. And then when we tried to gather here to go there and see how our chairman was, rumors were spreading that we went for a curfew at that side, which wasn't the case. And I thank God during that day we met the RCC in person. That means God is with us. We went in the right course and nothing happened.
I urge all of us to be law-abiding people like our brothers here. I want to warn leaders. My leaders in Arua City. Leaders in West Nile. Let's desist from corrupt tendencies. Let us desist from corrupt tendencies. Let us stop taking sides, dividing the business community. I want you to take it from me today. I knew the South Sudanese traders as one group. When I was handling those other two issues which I mentioned earlier on, I knew them as one group, united force. There must be no more fights here in the market. If there are fights, we shall pick only the ringleaders. We shall not keep them in prison here. We shall take them to Namalu in Karamoja. I want Tony and Mauti to come here. If you hear the stories, these people were together. They started very well, but then of late they have separated. And very badly. I want to ask them a question before I read this resolution. Are you ready to unite once more? Are you ready? He's saying no. He's saying he's ready. Now I'm going to read the resolution. Now the Tony Group.
Tony Group Tony Vure.
Pardon? No, you can go back. Go back. This was the resolution. The Tony Group must move to the main market. And then the Mautu Group, the regional association, remain in the Sudanese fish market.
Transpired yesterday during this engagement of the city leadership together with the vendors. Really, if you really did witness and listen to yourselves what they said, it is issues maybe surrounding to corruption and then money, because money is one thing that really separates people a lot. As I told you earlier on, one mentor of mine one time told me there are two things that really divide the world. One is power, and then secondly is money. And power moves with politics, so I think really we also need to really put politics aside as leaders sometimes, because once we to do service delivery, then such issues may be able to arise, and that may also have devastating impacts on the society. So I think I want to commend this, the city leadership, that is security leadership led by that is Charles Ichogor, the resident city commissioner, really for being that brave and really being understanding, and for really also ensuring that there's no bloodshed, because this issue really, you're looking at two blocks, really, these are blockers who have power, and you really know how these people are and how they can mean to behave, and really we want to also commend them for ensuring that there was no bloodshed and for solving this issue really amicably and drawing proper means to see to it that these people actually get united. And really, and we are going to be joined by him shortly, and he will be on the show to us also tell us what really caused this, and then what really they intend to achieve with the guidelines they have put in place, because new guidelines have already been issued since these two parties really failed to agree. And as really we are running out of time, we are going to be taking a short commercial break. And when we return back, we shall be able to be joined by Charles Ichogor, that is the resident city commissioner of Arua City, to actually tell us more on this saga here. Because this saga, once it is not resolved properly, then we may be able to also really see this market being closed, because really this is one fear that these market vendors had. But according to the wisdom that these leaders have, they are not going to really close this market, but what they are rather going to do is separate these two, to ensure that peace reigns once and for all. And the customers actually are going to remain for both groups, and the customers are free to go to whoever they want to work with. So I think that is also one good thing about this initiative that the leaders are taking. And with that, really, we would like to run for a short commercial break, and when we return back, we shall be able to be joined by, that is Charles Ichogor, the resident city commissioner for Arua City.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023, live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
This is time for working hard and producing and able to help somebody who is in need. Able to give to your loved ones. This is time for giving, for God so loved us and gave his only begotten Son. Do not go taking, give, and then you will receive. If you are planning to rob somebody, listen to me carefully, God is not happy with that. If you are planning to steal people's things, God is not happy with that. Destroy everything that makes you an enemy of your neighbor. It's only God who can destroy those tendencies in your life and that habit in your life, so that instead of taking, you are a giver, because we need to demonstrate love in our time. Again, this is not time for sexual immorality, but this is time for us to prepare ourselves to receive the blessing of God. Many of us are going to waste our bodies in going into people's homes and going with people's wives and going with people's daughters, and we are going to waste our lives out there. Listen, this is time for you to open your heart, open your hands, and receive the blessing of God. I speak to people who are listening to me. If you're listening to me and you are in West Nile, my region, will you make your body the temple of the Holy Spirit and guard it? Allow your body to be used to bless our region. Do not destroy somebody's relationship by misusing his wife or his daughter. Allow yourself to be a channel of blessing, because God brings you his life in order to bless other people. Again, this is not time for dancing the whole night. Some people are going to go into dancing spree, in discos and everything the whole night. In my place where I am seated, the devil has only given and deprived people who are wizards to dance at night. Why do they dance at night? Because they dance naked, which they can't do during the day. Why are you deprived of sleep when you should eat and drink and praise God and go to bed and sleep? Then go and worship God tomorrow without an hangover. Dancing at night, going to spend time out there with other women, with other girls, with other men, is not going to give you any benefit of celebrating such a day as this. And this is a time for praises. This is a time for worship of God, because God has given us a gift that we cannot afford.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. This is still the Kokoliriko live show on West Nile TV with me, Farish Majid. And in the first hour, we did discuss a lot, ranging from issues of the market surrounding, that is the South Sudanese fish market. I do understand the scandal was really getting out of hand as people were really pointing fingers here and there, accusing some of the leaders of also being behind the mess. But yesterday, I must say, I was very much pleased because it was open now. The people actually came out clearly to say that it is not true. These were just allegations, and these allegations were actually baseless. And we did see this, the leadership of Arua really trying their best to ensure that harmony is brought among these people here, because really these South Sudanese fish traders have also brought in a lot of fortunes that is for our people here, because really if you look at how people are now, we have seen so many people getting engaged into this trade here, and we are really seeing them also earning. And for those people who are jobless, we have seen them, and we also did hear testimonies of people like how they got the money to actually cater for themselves and pay for their tuitions and school fees here and there for their loved ones. So I think those were actually good testimonies as women who are able to say from being jobless, from being idle, they are now engaged into trade. And this fish trade has actually brought really a lot of fortunes for them. But now we're also seeing wrangles. I did tell you earlier on, when money comes into something, definitely the repercussions also sometimes may not be that good because it brings in divisions. So I think division has already entered them. But I want to commend the city leadership for really ensuring that harmony is brought among these people here by not really moving the market out of the city as it was the case, as some people believed that the market was actually being planned to be moved to, that is Odramachako, where some stores have already been put in place. I do not know how true this one is, but I've already been joined by, that is Charles Ichogor, the resident city commissioner for Arua City. You're most welcome, sir, to actually expound on this discussion. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much, West Nile TV. All the viewers, good morning, everybody. It's a cool morning here in Arua City. It is true, in Arua City we have the Sudanese market, Sudanese fish market. It is a booming business here in Arua City. But 3 weeks ago, we had intelligence reports that these people were falling apart amongst themselves. And there was a likelihood of a very bad clash amongst them. I quickly mobilized emergency security meeting to address the issue. We sat, we discussed, and came up with resolutions. Thereafter, we invited the two parties. At first, it was only one association, the Sudanese Fish Market Vendors Association. But because corruption entered in, individual greediness and selfishness, now they got divided. In that divisionism was going to bring a problem to us. Dear viewers, you know Uganda is a peaceful country. And we must thank His Excellency, the President of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for fighting for peace in this country. With that background, we did not want any bloodshed to be lost here in Arua, being caused by the Southern Sudanese. We sat several times, had to call about four meetings to discuss these issues. We also invited the Southern Sudanese, the Original Association and the Breakaway Association. And from our analysis, we realized that these people will never unite. We tried to champion unity amongst them, but we realized that they would never unite. So we had to take a decision, because we were told that there was a sinister motive by one breakaway group to take this market to DRC Congo, Odramachako.
Yes, I was actually coming to that.
What I did, I visited, I went to the border. I wanted to confirm. I visited the border and confirmed that there was a market already constructed the other side of DRC. That made me mobilize my team once more, because this market here is employing over 200 women. You know, we have just dispersed PDM. Now they are doing business. When the Southern Sudanese bring fish, they also buy fish and sell to individual customers. You heard the testimonies yesterday from these women. Some of them were prostitutes, some of them are single mothers and completely leading a desperate life. But now their life has changed. They're able to pay school fees for their children. They have moved away from the streets, and their income now is helping them and their entire families. Two, we have the brokers, the blockers. The blockers are about 152. The young men who were gangsters in the streets, robbing phones, breaking doors, now are employed in this market. And they are getting income. One boy testified from that market as a blocker. He was able to study from secondary to university, and he has a degree out of that market. So we got so concerned, we didn't want any disruption of this market.
Yes, I was actually coming to that point. Really, we did see some of our leaders being pinned behind this mess here. And now with the resolutions that you came out yesterday and read to these parties, what measures are you going to take against these such leaders, really, who may be able to really continue to engage in such practices that divide people? Because really, we did see people pinning some of the leaders actually behind the mess. What are you going to do to them as the head of security within the city council?
Thank you very much. Yesterday, after taking a decision to separate these people, the breakaway team will go to the main market, central market. And then the original association, the Sudanese Association, will remain in the Sudanese market. It is true, there were allegations that some leaders got involved in this matter. Me as head of security, I'm going to put my ears on the ground and using intelligence. If we identify any of our leaders who is involved in this malpractice, the law will take its course. I want to make this one categorically clear that any leader within my jurisdiction in Arua City who will try to poke in his nose into the affairs of this market will be apprehended. Will be apprehended because we want peace. We want these young women and men to continue doing their business. We have also cautioned the Southern Sudanese. You know, in Southern Sudan, there are issues of insecurity. Not to transfer insecurity in Uganda, not to transfer insecurity in Arua. So we are going to work shoulder by shoulder and make sure that there is peace in this market. The leaders, the suspected leaders must stop. They must stop forthwith. Our intelligence is going to be on the ground so that there is harmony. I would like to ask you, the media, equally. You are our informers, major informers. You are our partners. If you get the wind of some leaders here, they are trying to connive, to confuse the population in the market, very quickly inform us. That's why we have resolved. It is the management of this market is now in the hands of the city town clerk. And the city town clerk is going to put his own structures, the technical people, on the ground. For us, we shall manage the security part of it. But the nitty-gritty, the administration of the market is going to be handled by the city clerk, who will always give reports to my office. Then when we get reports, also when we call a security meeting, the reports are discussed in the security meeting. Because we believe if we continue that way, there will now be peace in the market, and prosperity in Arua City. Arua City is a business hub. We must exploit that opportunity of bordering DRC Congo and Southern Sudan so that we eliminate these idle youth. We eliminate prostitution by occupying the young people, the young women and girls. That testified yesterday in socio-economic transformation.
And you know, human nature, sometimes we bring these laws, we come up with them, these nice laws. When it comes to implementation, that is where the implementation bit at times also lacks. And then some also tend to really tend to undermine the laws. Sometimes we do see them. And one resolution actually IPO made was for these people to separate. One group was to remain at the regional market, and then the other one was supposed to move to the main market. And what measures are you going to ensure that you fulfill this, and maybe what are you going to do to whoever party that may not be able to fulfill this MOU that you came up with?
I've just told the viewers that the city town clerk will now handle the nitty-gritty of the administration of the market. And whoever violates our resolution, because that resolution was not mine, it came from the security committee meeting. And we told them categorically yesterday that if you cross from your zone to another zone, that is crime. That's big crime. And we shall get you, and I've promised them, if you are found guilty, we shall take them not here but to Namalu prisons as a deterrent, such that there is peace flowing. Our ears are going to be on the ground. The city clerk and the technical persons are equally going to be on the ground. That's why in the security committee, we are going to direct the town clerk to appoint a market master for particularly that Sudanese fish market, who will be charged with the day-to-day activities of running the Sudanese fish market. He should be able to identify for us any loopholes. Once we get the loopholes, we shall handle the individuals case by case, on a case by case basis, so that we put to rest this issue. And I believe after yesterday's meeting, this matter is coming to an end. And I would like to thank all my members of the security committee. I equally want to thank the member of parliament, Central Division, Honorable Atima, for sparing his time. He left Kampala. There are summits there, but he said, let's put our heads together so that we resolve this impasse. In my wisdom, I think we have resolved this matter. Whoever comes out again to come and try to disorganize what the security committee has resolved and what we agreed in that big gathering will suffer the consequences of the law.
Okay, maybe lastly to the brokers with whom you really also did talk to, and you are planning to have an engagement with them. As you said yesterday, you were planning to meet them and have ways of talking to them. And recently, really, if you did see what happened on the 11th of January, which was quite unfortunate there, but I want to commend you and the security team for really working peacefully and really drawing means that these issues are resolved amicably without really ensuring that people lose blood there. So I think you did a good job, and I must appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
And what message do you really have for these brokers who may be able to really take the laws into their hands, like for those who really stormed the police station demanding for the release of their leaders? What message do you have for such groups of people that may be that arrogant, really storming police officers, really pushing? I did see them pushing officers here and there, attacking the leaders, which was really something that was not good. But I want to commend security team for really acting calmly and ensuring that this issue really did not go out of hand. What message do you have for such groups? Because this we may be talking about fish, not knowing the next group, the next violence may come from those dealing in clothes. So I think human nature really is something that we also need to really talk to, and that is why I'm bringing you on the point with the brokers. What message do you have for them really as we run out of time?
Thank you. Thank you. My viewers, I I'm in Arua City for a purpose. And I must make sure that my work must mirror presidency. It is true, there was a demonstration by a few youth over that market when they arrested one of their chairpersons. Fortunately, on that day, I was in police, sharing a few things with my DPC. But when we heard noise, we came out. When we came out, we saw the youth now trying to enter the police station. They were pushing. I intervened. I walked there. Unfortunately, they listened to me and calmed down immediately. But I would like categorically to warn these youth. One, I know some people must have misled them. Some people must have misled them to do so, and they must not repeat. If there are issues to be discussed, they should come to my office, and we discuss amicably. Because that was being unruly. You cannot move towards a person who is armed and you want to scratch his face. It is fortunate that I was there myself and I was able to intervene in that situation. That's why yesterday I plan to meet the blockers, all the blockers in the market, so that I discuss with them strategic directions on, again, on how they can improve their welfare. From the money they are getting, the money should not be taken to Malayas, the money should not be taken for Waragi. They should equally invest in that money so that they prosper like one of their colleagues who has completed studies. I'm going to have an engagement with them. Not only me, I'm going to invite the commercial officer and some other leaders to take them through what they are supposed to do. I'll also invite the liaison officer to guide them. And the most important thing is on how to resolve conflicts. How do we resolve conflicts? Do we use violence or dialogue? We shall take them through peace and conflict resolution issues, such that there will be no such a thing again in Arua. Business must boom for prosperity. People must work hard. Let's exploit this peace the NRM government has brought to us, so that we develop, so that we prosper, so that we grow in all sides, using our neighborhood with the DRC and then Southern Sudan. So that's the engagement I'm going to have with them. And I know after that engagement, those people will come change, because ideologically I'm going to orient them. They will come change and they will become good citizens. If there are discrepancies, if there are eventualities in the market, they must know the chain of command. They must come to the RC's office. If it is concerning the town clerk, they should go to the town clerk. If it is the police, they should report to the police. So that collectively, because we won't build this city, I cannot do it alone, but with collective responsibility, we shall achieve it.
Okay, that is Charles Ichogor, the resident city commissioner for Arua City, and maybe your final words on this topic. And I must say, what you're really doing, we do appreciate it, and we look forward to that engagement of you together with the brokers. We shall be able to also come back and tell the viewers of what it is all about. Maybe your parting shots as we come to the end of the discussion.
Thank you very much. I want to thank West Nile TV for a good job you are doing in this sub-region. Without you, we cannot disseminate information. We cannot educate our population. I would like to urge the population of Arua City and West Nile in general to unite together. To unite together for a purpose. And the purpose is development. There is already peace. Now we must focus on development. We must work very hard. Very hard. We are going to eliminate idlers. If you move around the city, there are young men now seated along the streets doing nothing. They must join their friends and work. And I would like to urge the parents to play their role of parenting. Make sure that you know where your son is. Make sure that you know where your daughter is. There are a number of government programs. The programs now we are popularizing. Now that we have sorted this problem, we are now moving to the wards to sensitize, to educate the population of Arua City on government programs. The NRM government, the government of Uganda, has a money for the population. But it seems some people do not know. Recently, I was called by one person in Central Division that he has never heard about PDM. I was very shocked. I invited him to come to my office, but he has not come up to now. So the message is, let's work very hard. Let's unite and work very hard. Let's unite with the NRM government and we work hard for the prosperity of Arua City.
All right, that is Charles Ichogo, the Resident City Commissioner for Arua City, and discussing on the scandal that surrounds, that is the South Sudanese fish market and the fish deals. So I think this is where we did bring him to actually come and tell us what exactly he is doing to bring in harmony, because this issue, once it escalates out of hand, we may be able to also see bloodshed here and there, which may have devastating effects. So I think him together with the rest of the security agencies, they are doing quite a commendable job that we must all appreciate, and we must also rally behind them. So I think they need our support, and we always have to also support them as they support us. And with that, really, we come to the end of the discussion as we really continue with the Kokoliriko live show. And we also want to thank him so much for coming to us and talk to us about this good initiative, because once really it is not addressed, these are issues that may get out of hand, and once they get out of hand, bringing them to a solution may be that difficult. So I think that is why we want to thank him so much for coming and to talk to us. And really, with that, we come to the end of the discussion, but we are running for a short commercial break, and when we return back, we still have lots more to tell you happening in and around the world. With that, let's first have a short commercial break, and when we return back, we shall be able to pick up with the discussion from there. Thank you so much.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
This is time for working hard and producing and able to help somebody who is in need. Able to give to your loved ones. This is time for giving, for God so loved us and gave his only begotten Son. Do not go taking, give, and then you will receive. If you are planning to rob somebody, listen to me carefully, God is not happy with that. If you are planning to steal people's things, God is not happy with that. Destroy everything that makes you an enemy of your neighbor. It's only God who can destroy those tendencies in your life and that habit in your life, so that instead of taking, you are a giver, because we need to demonstrate love in our time. Again, this is not time for sexual immorality, but this is time for us to prepare ourselves to receive the blessing of God. Many of us are going to waste our bodies in going into people's homes and going with people's wives and going with people's daughters, and we are going to waste our lives out there. Listen, this is time for you to open your heart, open your hands, and receive the blessing of God. I speak to people who are listening to me. If you are listening to me and you are in West Nile, my region, will you make your body the temple of the Holy Spirit and guard it? Allow your body to be used to bless our region. Do not destroy somebody's relationship by misusing his wife or his daughter. Allow yourself to be a channel of blessing, because God brings you his life in order to bless other people. Again, this is not time for dancing the whole night. Some people are going to go into dancing spree, in discos and everything the whole night. In my place where I am seated, the devil has only given and deprived people who are wizards to dance at night. Why do they dance at night? Because they dance naked, which they can't do during the day. Why are you deprived of sleep? When you should eat and drink and praise God and go to bed and sleep, then go and worship God tomorrow without a hangover. Dancing at night, going to spend time out there with other women, with other girls, with other men, is not going to give you any benefit of celebrating such a day as this. And this is a time for praises. This is a time for worship of God, because God has given us a gift that we cannot afford.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Right, welcome back from that short commercial break, and we did have discussions with Charles Ichogor, the resident city commissioner for Arua City. The discussions were in line to the scandal that surrounds the South Sudanese fish trade. So I think so many issues were being said here and there, where we did have also accusations of the leaders by the groups here and there of taking money from them. So I think that was something that was really quite very bad. But I also do appreciate the leadership for ensuring that this issue is resolved amicably, and really that is what we discussed in the first hour, which was really quite interesting, and we do appreciate you watched it right from that time. I want to appreciate Mahad Rashid watching us from Abu Dhabi, and he appreciates us for the good job, and he says he really misses home, and that is Arua City, and that is actually why we are here. Just like Rashid, you can actually be part of this show by watching us from wherever. It doesn't matter where you're watching us from, where you catch us from. What we are here to do is to ensure that we let you know of what is happening in and around the region. So I think it is quite great there for you to also be part of the show, and also let us know where you are exactly catching us from and what you think on the discussions that we are holding here. And that is why it is very much paramount for you to always be part of this great show that is from Mondays to Fridays, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. with me, Farish Majid, and where we also bring for you guests to come and expedite on some of the issues that may be affecting our environment, our vicinities here and there. So I think it is why we always come here every morning to let you know of what is happening. And remember, now moving away from Arua City to that is Pakwach. This is where another issue is happening, where the Pakwach market vendors are counting losses as they fail to make profits after the festive season. And that is, I think, something also I really need to talk to you about, because now the people are going to the markets to sell with the aim of really making profits. But now that the profits are not coming, that has also been attributed to so many issues. And you know, this is the month of January. Usually people say January has about 60 days. I don't know how true that one is, but I think it is just because that people spend a lot of money that is during the festive season. So once January comes, it finds them very broke. I think so many people actually already counting losses, already really not earning very much. So I think January, with its own problems, people are now counting losses, and I think the market vendors in Pakwach main market, that is in Pakwach Town Council, Pakwach District, are counting losses as they fail to make profits for their businesses due to low sales after Christmas and New Year. Market vendors who used to support their families through selling of different commodities have failed to extend their help, and this has actually been attributed to low purchase. And a mini survey conducted indicates that some vendors go back home empty-handed, which is really quite not good, because we are at a time of socio-economic transformation where we want everybody to ensure that they are productive in any activity where they can actually generate monies for themselves and really also sustain their families. Once they start really going to markets, that is when we're also going to see risks of people coming into the streets. And remember, street vending has actually been attributed. One factor where street vending is featuring is actually the reason of people not being able to move to the markets. And could that be the reason as to why these people are not making the monies? I do not know. I do not have any ideas. But I think if these people really start making monies and really sustain their families, it will be very, very much important for them, because these women, some of them are actually the vulnerable ones. Talking about these vulnerable community members, these women sometimes really they go through a lot to ensure that they bring food to their table. And once there is no money, this is where you're going to see cases of gender-based violence going up on the rise. So I think that is also something I feel I need to also really share with you and let you know, because gender-based violence is really so much high. And within the festive season, it is actually very, very much witnessed. And this is according to the information we get from these experts that handle these cases. They really tell us that during this period of the festive season and then the post-festive season era, this is January, which with its own problems, where we usually say it is a difficult month. And I think that is not a lie, because really some people, you can really look at your friends, you can really also look at the person closer to you and ask them how they are doing within this month here. And you can test them by actually borrowing, trying to ask money from them. You can really see how people are complaining of how they are poor. And within this period, if somebody also tells you that he or she is poor, and then you should always believe them, because it is a month that is quite difficult with so many issues here and there. And remember, the same month is also when children are going back, and we are just counting, I think, a week and some days and to come, where we shall see also the children going back to school. So I think this is also something that I feel I need not to leave out, and also let you know, as parents, as guardians, as stakeholders of education, to also be in the know of, because very soon these children, our daughters and our sons, will have to head back. Remember, some of them are just starting school. These are for the infants who are really going to start off school. This is also the very time for you to start looking out for schools for them and ensure that they go back really very safely there. And this is actually time where you also need to start finalizing with their plans and preparations of raising monies for them to also go back to school safely. So I think as parents, we have a great job, we have a great part to play in ensuring that we organize the children in these remaining days, because once we do not do that, then they will be able to also really face challenges here and they are not going back to school. Then that will also be a problem for them, and I think which may not be good there for them to also really ensure that they be home, because once we are talking about children, by all means they have to study, they have to go to school. And really the market vendors who are raising monies for their children are now counting losses, which is something that we must find solution to. And really, if government has something that can do, then we want to call upon government to find means and ensure that these people are really helped. Because if you have to look at information we're getting from them, Zulfa Weche, vendor in rice and sugar at Pakwach Mine Market, says that she used to get commodities from Kampala, but due to economic hardship and high price of rice, she and which she attributes to low sales due to high expense people exhibited last year. So remember, during festive season, once we are here, we used to tell people, please do not overspend. Ensure that your spendings are very much minimized, and ensure that the monies that you are making is not put into any other use. So I think people also do not abide by these sayings, but now they are feeling the pinch, something that we should also really find help to, and really ensure that these people get help. And really, people are now moving out of business, and once we do not help them, they may be able to move out of business, which may also have a devastating impact on the economy, because we are talking of an economy that where we want to see everybody in productive activity, so where they can be able to actually generate small incomes for themselves. And once they do not really also get active into these activities, then we are bound to be seeing them actually also counting losses, which may have really devastating effects. So I think people of Pakwach main market are really, we need to find solutions to helping them. So I think other than that, we need to also really ensure that we go and buy from them, because these are the women and this is the traders. Remember, Pakwach is not very far from that is from the main city, Arua city. Once we go there, let's also buy some of these things there, because that is a food production hub also. We do understand Matoke also comes from those ends. We do have fish, the nang nang, which is commonly known for, and I think not only nang nang, we also have so many types of fish species that come from those ends. So I think we really also need to support these women who go into the markets, so that they can be able to also desist from street vending, because if you really travel to Kampala, you can see how many people on the streets are really loitering and really looking for survival on the streets, and of which you cannot actually push them because they are into the active productive activity we are talking about, and which government of Uganda is actually calling upon everybody to actually engage themselves into. So I think as government, we need to support these people. We need to find out why really they are not counting the losses, why they are also making these losses, because if they do not ensure that they make this is helped, then we shall see these people being pushed out of the activity that they are doing. We shall see them pushed out of the markets, and which may also have devastating impact towards the revenue mobilizations, because some of these women pay taxes and they pay market dues, which actually go to the local government. So I think the leaders that side need to come up with proper means and ensure that these people get help, because really these people help pay monies to the local governments, and this is where we see also service delivery, and once these people are not helped, then that will be very, very bad for them there. So I think we put that aside, and really so many things are happening in and around the world, and that is something I feel I cannot also leave out. And really we have so many happening here and there, and that is why we need also really to ensure that we talk about these things here, because once we do not do that, then definitely they will have impact on what we are discussing here. So I think so many things are being said here and there, and that is why we shall be able to also relay and really share with you. And remember, suicide cases are on the rise, and that is also within the Alur sub-region, something that is really very, very much bad there, because we are looking at how elders are committing suicide. This is something that we must be worried of. Remember, some time back we did have a person about 90 years committing suicide, and for which reasons remain unclear, and now another case is happening, and I do not know why elders must be able to also committing suicide. Doesn't mean that the young generation is not helping them. Remember, we used to say it is the young generation to bury the elders, but now we are seeing the elders also burying the young ones, so which means becoming vice versa, and that could be as a reason as to why young people do not want to get active into helping these young people and these elders, I mean. So I think if that is not addressed, then we are bound to be seeing so many cases of elders committing suicide. And one reason actually these people are committing suicide is the economic hardship. And remember, once you are an elder, you become less productive, you lose energy, you become less powerful, which may also affect your productivity in terms of production, in terms of food production, to getting active also in ways of looking for money. So thereby you have to be supported by all means by the young generation. So I think once this do not also happen, and coupled with the cases of young people whom we are seeing idle on the streets, and actually with some getting involved into dubious activities of theft here and there. Remember, if you look at what is happening in Arua City, if you move at night, you might be able to not to reach where you are reaching safely because of these young boys who are commonly snatching people's bags and phones here and there, which is actually becoming a security threat. And we really also expect the security agencies to really act upon these young people who are becoming a threat to the lives of the people. So I think people's properties are being snatched here and there, which is also posing a great security threat to these community members here. So I think that is something I cannot also leave out. And I feel we need to also talk about, because once these issues are not helped, then the young generation whom we are talking about. Remember, so many government initiatives have been in place to really help these young people. Government actually did come up with a youth livelihood up to now, which has not generated any results. So I think that is something we cannot also leave out, and there is need. Now the leaders are calling for quick intervention to mitigate the rate at which ideations are growing among elderly persons. That is in Pakwach district. According to information, Pakwach Central Police Station is most frightening that these suicide cases are highly prevalent among the young and elderly persons, whom we would think are so much affected by the economic crisis within the old ages, who have more responsibilities. And that is something really I did tell you about. Stress is actually one factor really that is contributing to suicidal thoughts, and once you start developing these suicidal thoughts, and you do not open up to a colleague, that is when you're going to also see cases of yourselves getting these ideas of maybe the intentions of wanting to commit suicide, and which may also have negative impacts, because it may push you into committing the suicide that you really think that you would not actually commit. But once you start having the ideas, then it is very, very much important to always open up to people to whom you confide in. So I think if you have somebody that you trust and you think is a friend, is a brother, is an uncle, you open up to them so that they can give you the right advice. Other than that, you may be able to also continue with the ideas of wanting to commit suicide, wanting to kill yourself, then which may also not be good, because really you are looking at yourself committing suicide because of the hard economic hardship. Remember, we usually say problems not end. There's one song I like, problems don't end. Even if you do what, they will not end. They will always come up. But committing suicide is never a solution, because once you really have these ideas of wanting to commit suicide, remember, suicidal thoughts, really once they start coming onto your head, then definitely, if you do not open up, if you do not really tell people that you confide in, because these are the people that at the end of the day are going to really advise you, and these are people you can actually seek guidance and counseling from these psychiatrists who can be able to actually tell you why you should not actually really commit suicide. And this is why it is also very much important to always check your loved ones, because people are going through a lot and which you do not know, and once you start asking why you committed suicide, and really it becomes very, very much hard for people to answer, because when this person was alive, you never checked on them, not even a call, not even going to visit them. And this is the relatives, by the way. I'm calling upon each and everybody to now start visiting our loved ones and ensuring that we check out on them, because once we do not really do that, it may actually be one issue that they may feel neglected, and our ideas, our advice to them could actually really have an impact on them. And that is why we must actually visit our loved ones and check on them and really ensure that they are safe. So I think that is something we cannot really also leave out, and we really also need to ensure that we have a talk about. So I think that is why it is also very much important really for people of this nation to ensure that they visit their people and ensure that they also check on them. So I think I want to call upon each and everybody to ensure that we visit these people, more so the elders. And as a young generation, it is upon us to support these elders, because now they have no energy. It is us to work for them, and once we are not working, let's ensure that we are closer to them. So let them understand that it is not that we do not want to work. Sometimes also they feel that we do not want to work, and that is why we are doing all these things there. We're not supporting them, and that is which may not also be quite good for them there. So I think that is something we must also say, have a chat about. And now moving away from that, and police in Arua district on Monday arrested the senior environment officer for Arua district local government, that is Joachim Andiandu, for allegedly extorting and embezzling 20 million Ugandan shillings from Ombamba Village Saving Group, which is part of the 40 million shillings meant for the implementation of forest restoration project under that is development response to displacement impacts projects, that commonly known as Dr. Deep. And Andiandu, also the district's Dr. Deep's desk officer, was arrested together with area community facilitator, that is Mr. Onjima Owen, who aided the process. So as officer claimed that the money would be shared among the district leaders. Remember, Dr. Deep projects have been very much mad with corruption tendencies, and recently we were in Terego district where similar instances were also registered, and where we did see a strike of these people who are actually demanding for their monies, who stormed the district head offices demanding for payment of their monies. And really these people actually worked, some of them worked way back 2019, and up to now they have never received their monies. And rumor has it that these monies have actually come and they have been embezzled. So that is something we did not know, and we left the leaders really still following up on the matter. And we look forward to these people getting their monies, because we are talking about restoration coupled with so many issues of climate change. And then people really, this money that comes from Office of the Prime Minister under Dr. Deep sometimes also, and people want to just misuse them like that, then that is really something that we do not condone. We really also condemn this in the highest terms, and really we expect this to be brought to book, and we also expect them to actually get the justice, because these people have provided the service, and their service is now being felt because they planted the trees, and now we are taking off their monies without really paying for them. It becomes really quite unfortunate, as this poses a threat to the next coming projects, because in future, what if such similar projects would want to really also come to this region and ensure that they have an impact on the society? And so that also we call people to actually come on board and ensure that they take part in such projects, then that is going to also push them away. So I think we expect justice for these people, more so the people who need their monies. We expect these monies to be paid. Other than that, we really also want to call upon each and everybody to ensure that they are safe, and once they are doing their jobs, they do their jobs very well, and let them quit corruption, because corruption is one thing that is dragging us down, and that has pushed us away from actually getting the middle income status that we have actually been always seeking to. And the president's mandate by 2040 was to ensure that each and everybody reaches the vision of that is in the manual economy, whereby each and everybody is supposed to live above the bar line, that is of poverty. So I think once we continue having corruption tendencies by the leaders who are supposed to act as exemplary, then that is actually going to be very, very much difficult there, because according to the information we are getting, this is not only happening in Arua district. As I did tell you, Terego district is actually witnessing the same, as we did see these farmers who did take part in the restoration of forest cover that has been really cut down, also not receiving their monies because they did their part in terms of clearing land, in terms of planting. We do have farmers, that is the ordinary farmers. We do have production officers who are actually part of this, but including also not forgetting extension officers who are actually part of this initiative of ensuring that the forest cover that is getting depleted or facing extinction is actually restored and really also maintained. So I think people, once they start embezzling these monies and really also taking the monies without really ensuring that they pay the rightful people behind the projects, then it becomes really quite difficult there. That is one of something really we feel that we need to talk about before really it gets out of hand. So I think that is something really we need to also talk about, and remember, putting that aside, there are people, the leaders who are actually the Electoral Commission team that was really actually proposed by the president has now been vetted. The presidential nominees for the Electoral Commission have successfully undergone vetting by the Parliament Appointments Committee chaired by the Speaker, Right Honorable Anita Among. The committee reviewed the nominations of the chairperson, that is Justice Simon Biabakama, Vice Chair Aisha Lubega, and all 5 commissioners. So I think as per the rule, that is 171 of the Parliament Rules Procedure, the Speaker will communicate the appointments committee's decision to the President. So I think what the President does is to propose the names, and it is Parliament to do the vetting, and that is how the law takes its course. But some people are actually raising a concern about this law, more so the opposition groups. They are saying that this law actually puts them off. It is one law that needs to be amended, and Aisha Kaban, the Member of Parliament for Butambara District, stated that the committee had engaged with the 7 nominees from the President and carried out the vetting process. So I think, however, she clarified that it was not within her mandate as the Speaker to inform the appointment authority about the outcome. Kabanda expressed her regret about working with systems that she and others oppose. So I think this is something that also really we must talk about, because really we are looking at the law. It is the President who is also a candidate. That is why the opposition candidates are now posing their threats, and about the same issue still, opposition is worried about state of democracy in Uganda. Yesterday we did see a joint press briefing, that is of FDC party president, that is really former party president, that is Dr. Kiza Besigye, together with National Unity Platform party president, that is Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, having a press briefing, and really also talking about such issues and similar incidences. So I think members of the Uganda Forces Change representing the opposition have voiced their dissatisfaction with the deteriorating state of democracy and governance in Uganda during a press briefing held at Dr. Kiza Besigye's office, that is on Katonga Road on Kampala. They called upon Ugandans to stand up and fight for their rights. So I think, coupled with the increased security deployment was observed around Katonga Road as the United Forces of Change prepared to hold a press conference earlier, Besigye noted that the police had been alternating between barricading and opening access to their office since morning in what appeared to be an attempt to disrupt the event. So I think this is not the only case. We did see also NUP coming up with the similar accusation, saying that police actually attempted to enter their offices. So that is something also we really feel we need not to leave out. And this is actually to forge alliance, and that is the unity between that is Dr. Besigye and Party President, His Excellency that is Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, as 2026 is really not very far from now, because we are in 2024. Very soon we shall be able to also see Electoral Commission opening the ways with the process in line, because once these people actually are vetted, they will be able to take over office, and then they will be also there to issue guidelines for the next elections. Remember 2026, where we shall be able to have our general elections, is not very far, and now preparations are being held here and there, and the leaders are actually moving within their communities. This is where you see all the leaders are now active. People are not missing all the ceremonies, because we know politics is not very far from now, and that should be an indication to you that if you are a candidate that wants to intend, you shouldn't wait for 2025 or 2026. You must actually start now by getting closer to the people. So I think this is what the party, that is what the different political party groups are doing to ensure that they restructure ahead of time, because once you do not actually organize yourselves right now, 2025 or 2026 may be very small time for you. So I think it is very, very much important also for you to start organizing yourselves right now, as you really also have to intend that by 2026 you are ready for the election. So I think that is something we cannot also leave behind, we cannot underscore, as this show is there for you really. In case you are just joining us right now, this is the Kokoliriko live show on West Nile TV that comes your ways every Mondays to Fridays. We still have lots more on the updates we are going to be giving to you, because what we give you are the insights on some of the topics that may be able to trend on the various really that platforms, and that is why we come and give you also what is happening. So I think it is very, very much important for you to always be part of the show that is from 7 to 9 every Mondays to Fridays with me, Farish Majid. And remember, in the first hour we are joined by, that is Ichogor Charles, the resident city commissioner for Arua City, where we did have discussions here and there concerning the saga that surrounds the South Sudanese fish dealers. So I think the leadership of Arua City was able to really expedite that issue very, very well there, and we really also expect unity to be brought among these people. And to the people who are mixing this also, really I also want to echo my voice on a similar note to issue warning to you, so that we do not divide the people. We want development, and once the people are divided, then there will be no development. And with that, really allow me run in for a short commercial break, and when we return back we shall be able to really pick up with the discussion. Remember, at 9 we shall be having the news bulletin, that is in Lubarati, that is with Fete Manuel. So for now, really let me take a short breather, and when we return back we shall be able to really continue with the discussion from there. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023, live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
welcome back. This is still a Kokoliriko live show on West Nile TV. In case you're just joining us right now, it's a pleasure having you on board, and you're most welcome to the biggest show on West Nile TV that comes your ways every Mondays to Fridays, 7 to that is the hour of 9 a.m. And in case you are just joining us from wherever you're watching us from, we want to say thank you so much for watching West Nile TV. And this is the show that will be able to also keep you informed of what is happening in West Nile sub-region, in northern Uganda, in the entire Uganda, and the world at large. So I think when we are discussing, we discuss issues that are affecting us as people of this region. So I think Munyonyo residents are crying foul over NAM Summit losses. And remember the NAM Summit that is still continuing, that started on 15th and will be able to run, that is up to, that is the 20th. So many people are now actually jubilating. Mixed reactions actually being received as the opportunity, as it comes with so many opportunities here and there, ranging from tourism, hotel business. So I think so many issues are being said because the event has come with development, and this is an event that attracts over 1,000 dignitaries. And remember, so many heads of states are already here in Uganda, and they are discussing issues that is the countries under the non-aligned movement. Remember, this is a bloc that was formed. This was a nation that was actually formed not for these nations to join any other bloc. And remember, if you look at in the Cold War politics era, so I think so many blocs these two blocs were formed, and the non-aligned movement actually did come up as a resolution for these Africans, mostly these developing African states, not to be member states of this Cold War. So I think this has actually had its own time, and so many issues are being discussed here and there, and it has had its own achievements and strengths and weaknesses, and the leaders are now there. Speak to Munyonyo. And remember, after this, on 20th still, there will be also another big event, that is the G77 plus China Summit, which is also another big event taking place at the same venue, where we expect these dignitaries also to address issues that affect these nations. Remember, so many issues are now affecting the nations here and there, where we are talking, even as we are talking currently, there is a scandal that is between, that is Rwanda and Kenya, and that is, Tanzania and Kenya, where Tanzania did close its airport, that is for flights coming from, that is from Kenya. So I think this issue is now being addressed, where we do expect the leaders from these two countries also to sit within the next within these two days to also really address this issue and offer solutions to them, so that the flights can continue normally. Because once these flights are put off, it also affects the trade. Remember, these flights that move in from Kenya to Tanzania also brings in money for the two countries. So I think it actually arose as a disagreement, where these two countries had a disagreement that is concerning a cargo plane that was supposed to fly in from Tanzania to Kenya, but due to disagreements here and there, they were not able to actually fulfill the MOU properly. And now back to, that is the NAM Summit. Traders operating along Kansanga, that is and Kabalagala, Bunga, Buziga, and Munyonyo accounting losses following the heavy security presence as foreign visitors arrive into the country for the non-aligned movement summit. So I think this has also come with its own problems. The people, so the traders are saying they have been blocked. Security was deployed heavily. The border riders cannot move into the stages, and those people who are selling to the roadside, by the roadside, are not able to actually also really ensure that they do this, because we have to paint that image we talk about. What about the survivors, the hustlers who are doing their jobs on the roadside, selling small things such as vegetables, to ensure that they put food on the table for their families? That is something that has also not been good with them. And if you talk about the NAM Summit, also really some people are not good against it. More so the taxi operators. These were people who are riding. They have been pushed off-road. I do not know how movement has become difficult for people that side. And once the taxis are off-road, then you definitely have to expect a hike in prices, because movement have to be deterred due to the few presence of vehicles on the road. So I think that is something also a disadvantage that the NAM Summit plus this G7 plus China 77 summits that may be able to also really come up with to the people. So I think that is something also really we must also not leave out and also tell you about. So I think that is something we must be able to also really tell you of what is happening. So I think these have had devastating effects on the people who are surviving on these roads, because right now the security agencies, this is one joke that people are making on social media, that once you see these guests you have to smile. Yes, once a guest, a visitor is coming to your home, you must be able to actually paint that good image. You must hide the things aside. Remember scenarios where we used to hide the bad children outside. We really hide them. We do protect them away from seeing the guest, so that also the guest does not look into them. That is really something that we should be able to copy, because we must paint a good image so that these people who are coming may also get the courage of wanting to come back. Other than that, once we start also posing these images of us being very bad, us looking awkward, so it will also push them aside. That may also not be good. So I think it is very, very much important for us to ensure that we paint a good image to these visitors who are visiting. So I think we need to let them know that we are quite good people, and people are complaining. Let's be patient. 23rd is not very far. Remember, today is just 17th, I think. Yes, yeah. Today is just, we are remaining with very few days for the end of this summit. So I think it is also very, very much important for us to ensure that we really be patient, because once we're not patient, we may get problems. I think that is why security is doing all these things. There are so many directives have come up in place. People who are working as security guards are not allowed to move with your guns on these roads within these days here. You're supposed to leave your gun at the area of deployment. So I think that is something also we are talking about as the NAM summit is still continuing. That is why really we must talk about it. And remember, so many issues are really being addressed at the summit, where we also expect so many of these issues to be addressed, as Burundi border closure is hurting Ugandan exports. Remember, this is Uganda being a landlocked country. We were definitely defending on these countries. Uganda will now be facing so many challenges because the closure of the Burundi to Rwanda border will affect Uganda, despite the country not being part of the tensions between the two countries. So I think definitely once your two neighbors are fighting, definitely it will also have an impact on you as an individual, because these fights definitely indirectly or directly will have an impact on you, because the neighbor may say, it is you doing these things, you didn't support me in doing this, which may also not be good. So I think last week when the Burundi government closed its border with Rwanda, accusing Kigali of supporting the rebels who killed its nationals, so I think Rwanda denied the allegations. However, this came days after a rebel group attacked a village in western Burundi, killing 20 people. So I think that is something also we really need to ensure, because security is one thing that we need to always ensure that we work towards, because once we are not secure as a country, then definitely that is going to affect trade, and that is why development may also not be able to come in place. So I think we have a part to all of this play as countries. We need to ensure the MOU that we sign, because before really these countries indulging into this international trade, there are bilateral MOUs that are signed here and there to ensure that really these issues of trade do not really go out of hand. And that is why people are closing these borders, because they start saying that you did not abide by the MOU that we did sign on this day, and that is why I'm closing my border, which may also really come with its negative impacts, because we are putting traders at risk, because vehicles that are supposed to move from one country to another are being kept in one place idle for many days. So I think it also has devastating effects on the goods that are supposed to be moving from one place to another. And if you really remember when Kenya closed its borders for Uganda, when Rwanda actually did close its borders for Uganda, where we did see trucks lined up for long queues. So we did see long lines of trucks, where we also did see some of the perishable goods starting to rot. If you look at some of the goods that we supply these countries, once really such instances happen, then the goods start rotting, so it may not be good. So I think that is something also really we must be able to really talk about, because really we also did see Rwanda army shooting Congolese soldiers dead along the border. We did so many issues that are happening here and there. What does this mean for the peace and security of the East African Bloc member states? That is something that we really need to address as the people of this nation, because once that is not addressed, then definitely it will not be good. So I think that is something that we really also need to ensure that we talk about, and really so many other issues that are trending. So I think that is something that we really need to ensure that we talk about. So I think so many of other incidents happening that line, we shall be able to really also really let you know of what is happening. Remember also, on a similar note, Education Department of Moro District received 126 millions, and this is in preparations for the next academic calendar, because very soon, as I did tell you, children will be able to go back. And now the Ministry of Education and Sports, that is responsible for overseeing the education sector of this country, is actually mandated to supporting the education sector. So I think with the 126 million, which we do not expect to be misused, we do expect people to be preparing. That is for the next academic calendar that is starting very soon, because very soon the children will be able to also prepare going back to school, and where we have to ensure that they go back to school safely also. And with the 126 million which was received, and Mr. Mali Michael, the District Education Officer for Moyo, confirmed the Education Department that the ministry has already endorsed this money into the account, and which is supposed to be used for so many activities, such as ensuring that the classroom blocks within the city, within the district, I mean, are ensured and maintained properly, so that the schools actually can also organize themselves ahead of time, because really we are counting very few days, and I think this money comes timely, whereby the school heads can actually organize. This is mostly with the prior government schools, where they can actually organize themselves right now and ensure that they go back to school, children come back to school safely. So I think that is something also really we need to also really talk about. We cannot leave out, because this region really, we are talking about children not being able to perform very well. And remember, so many people have been on pressure this week. That is for the P7 candidates and some of the schools that are within the district. So I think really we need to also ensure that once these days are opened, children go back to school safely, because really the days are not very far, and we must start ensuring that the children are actually organized very well. And some of the private schools now have actually started, we do understand that have already started with the holiday work, holiday teachings, with giving children holiday packages, which may also not, which may be both good and bad, because at the end of the day these children really have to ensure that they rest. But once we start engaging them during holidays, by the time they get to school they also get exhausted, which may also not be good. So I think it is both good and bad. But Ministry of Education, according to Ministry of Education's guidelines, it is not yet timely for these children to actually to open. So for schools to open at this time, that's something that we really have to really desist from. So I think really with that, we want to actually come to a close of today's discussion as we pave way for the AOL as a news team led by Fete Emmanuel, who is already in set, who is actually getting ready to also give you what is happening. And this goes to the people who understand the language best. And this is for my West Nile people. Why you must always watch these West Nile news bulletins is because these are issues that affect you. And for the Lugbara speaking community, that is why it is very much important for you to actually watch this news bulletin, because it comes in the language that you best understand. And that is why the team is really in place to always ensure that they give you this news timely and ensure that you get what is best for you to know. So I think that is something really we must really also let you know of. And with that, really we want to come to today's close. I want to thank you whoever watched it from the time we began. Really, in case you kept it right from the time we began till this hour of the hour, I want to thank you so much for always being part of the show. So with this morning here, we are really coming to today's edition, close of today's edition. Today has been Wednesday, and I've been Farish Majid, really with Charles Ichogo, who joined us in the first hour, where we did discuss the wrangles that surround the South Sudanese fish market. We also did talk something small about how market vendors in Pakwach are carrying losses. And really, if you want to be part of the show, feel free really to use our various social media platforms and drop in your comments there. And we want to thank you who also shared your views, your comments on the show. We appreciate, we really appreciate them, because really with us, that is what with us you are, and with you we are. So I think we will have to work together collectively and ensure that we really enlighten the region, because as West Nile Television, our #1 mandate is to enlighten the region by actually also giving priority to some of the issues that may be able to happen in this region here. So with that, we really appreciate your time. And for now, really, I will allow me stop with today's discussion here, and really